Now that the BT and Sal show is officially dead, where does this leave WFAN as a sports station? Are they still the flagship sports station that they claim to be? Or are they now teetering on the entertainment side? The Fan has been a staple in my home for well over 30 years. As a Mets fan, they used to be the one-time radio home for the Mets, and I would listen to games on the radio when I didn't have Sports Channel. For all of you in the tri-state area, Sports Channel used to be the cable home for the New York Mets. And at that time, I didn't have Sports Channel. So if the games weren't on Channel 9, I'd turn on the Fan and listen to it until I fell asleep. And then I was introduced to I BE ERNEST in the morning and others. But that was many moons ago. WFAN has changed tremendously over the years. And I'm just wondering where the station goes. ESPN Radio never really grabbed me. I just wasn't a fan of their personalities. The Fan did. And the Fan was really one of the first sports stations. Mike and the Mad Dog have been gone for roughly 15 years. We've lost a lot of radio personalities. They've gone on to bigger and better things. But with BT and Sal gone, Keith McPherson, who wasn't really popular, but one of the few minorities on the station that was gaining a little traction, he's gone over to more of a part-time flexible schedule. I don't know who's left. And let's be honest, Boomer and Gio don't have the same oomph as maybe Boomer and Carton. But who knows? Carton's probably never going back to the morning show. And I don't know if they can regain that trust with each other again. You have Evan and Tiki. Tiki's kind of limited. He's a football guy. Sure, he's improved in his knowledge with the other sports, but I don't know. He's a good guy and he's a smart guy, but I haven't warmed up to him fully. Evan, quite honestly, I like Evan on Saturdays. I think Evan is a Saturday morning guy. I can't listen to Evan 5 days a week bloviating. Like, it's just, I don't like the pairing with him and Tiki. I just haven't been a fan of it. I really didn't like the pairing with him and Joe Benigno. Quite honestly, it was just two different worlds. One guy who's a senior citizen type, and then the other guy in his latter 30s. Sure, Evan has a lot of knowledge, but he wasn't able to match Joe's history, being that Joe is, 30 years older than him, roughly. So, when Joe's talking about stuff that happened in the 60s with the Mets and the Jets and the Knicks, Evan's not here. Evan's not around. A lot of us weren't around. So I never liked that pairing either. It was kind of like old meets new. I get the concept, but again, they've been, broken up long ago. So there's really no one else. I know people like C-Mac and there's some other guys, getting some mentions, but I just don't think the station recovers. And with Craig coming back at the start of the year, the Fan is in a limbo. What do? Are they trying to attract new listeners? Are they trying to attract a younger audience? Are they trying to attract those who are immensely deep into the whole pop culture world? Who are they trying to attract? That's the question people have to ask about the future of the Fan. What type of listener do they want? Because the young culture is fascinated by celebrity gossip and all the stuff going on TikTok and Instagram and all that stuff. Is that who the Fan is trying to attract? Maybe the older demographic that the Fan used to attract have fallen off. Many people are retired. They've passed away. Maybe the Fan is trying to attract that audience, that 18 to 28 demographic. Now, how does Craig fit into that? Being a 50-something-year-old man, I don't know. But he's more hip to the culture, perhaps. And he's the devil that they know. He's been there twice before. He stirs up controversy. Maybe they're looking for something else outside of sports. And that's unfortunate because, like I said, a lot of us don't really want to listen to ESPN radio. A lot of us who are programmed to listen to the Fan don't want to find new sports stations in other cities. It's hard to adapt to that. You want to listen to people who grew up liking the same teams or perhaps not liking the same teams in your local market. It's hard for someone like me to listen to a station in Boston. I don't like any other teams in Massachusetts. I have listened to stations in Philadelphia because they're kind of like the mini New York. But aside from that, it's hard to listen to other radio stations in other towns. So the Fan has a lot of questions to answer for people like me and others who just want to know the direction of the station. Because with Craig coming back, I don't have a problem. He can come back. He's allowed to come back. They're just going to lose a longtime listener like me. Because the best show, in my opinion, was BT and Sal. It was a little old school with younger guys who were in my age demographic, who pretty much did the things that I did growing up. Collect baseball cards, watch wrestling, support their local teams, this, that, and the third. Their personalities fit, and I don't know why 2 years was enough to say, you know what, enough with this. How many years did Mike and Chris get when they first started? Think about it. Were their first 2 years great? Probably not. Russ Salzberg, Steve Summers, how did their first 2 years go? It's just weird that BT and Sal only got 2 years. But life goes on. There's a new WFAN on the horizon, and it starts at the top of the year, and we shall see what happens.